and it's got some pretty nice color and an interesting shape. So I have a custom design in mind that I'm going to go with that's similar to my coffin cut. So starting right off here on the lap wheel, I got a 360 grit, and I'm just going to work on a little bit of a preform with my fingers before I go for the dop and get this thing set into the machine. Now, I got a flat point right there for the dop, and as you can see, the natural shape of these is actually a column, almost like a tower, and it actually naturally had some flat points on it. So I'm actually going to be using those flat walls around the perimeter to give me the rough shape of this stone, which is going to be similar to a coffin, as you'll see as the video progresses. Ruby is just corundum, which is in the sapphire family. It just happens to be a little more rare to find this color. Now there's a nice shot. You can see the hexagonal prism that it actually naturally formed in, and that's going to be the shape that I'm going for roughly to maximize the yield on this one. So I have it sitting on my dop and I'm ready to glue it. Now this dop stick it's sitting on now was just a temporary hold, and that just allows me to make sure things are centered. I use a little bit of a wax to hold it in place. So we're moving right on to the pavilion right now, and that's going to be the first part of this gemstone that I'm going to cut. Now I'm going to be doing a step cut design, and I'm basically just using angles that I know are going to be good angles for corundum, and I'm basically just freehand doing this entire stone with the design and angles that I have in my mind, where typically I would use Gem Cut Studio and do a gem design. So that right there was a shot of the initial shape, and now that I have that figured out, I'm going to be transferring over to my 1200 sintered, and this is going to basically allow me to get ready for the pre-polish on the gemstone. So just cutting in the girdle there, we're going to finalize the shape I'm going with, and there is the first shot here of the gemstone shape, and you can see the step cut there. So that is the 1200 finish, and you can really start to see the color of this stone. It's a really nice color. I also do happen to really like red, so rubies and garnets are some of my favorite stones. Moving on to the crown, I've just quickly cut the pavilion there, and we're going to be moving on to the crown facets. Now for the crown, again, I'm going with a pretty simple design. I'm going to be doing a step cut, and we're just going to make a very simple yet elegant design that I've freehanded, and I'm just using my own angles that I know are going to be adequate for the corundum. So there's a look at the crown coming in, and it's going to be a pretty simple step cut design as well on the crown as I did on the pavilion. And I had a little bit of orange peel on this, which basically happens when you're using certain laps. It creates almost pitting, and the corundum family is pretty notorious for that. So I had to go back and recut this crown in a second time, and here's a shot of it after I've done so. And when it came down to the final polish, I have been using, typically I use a copper lap, which I actually used in this video. More recently, I've been using the bat laps, and I just think that the copper and the bat lap each have their own place, and I'm actually really preferring the bat lap. I have one charged at 3,000 grit and one charged at 60,000 grit, and I use the 3K bat lap as my pre-polish after my sintered 1200 grit, and then I use the 60K bat lap as my final polish. And I had gone and done some gem cutting with Nolan Sponsler in Connecticut, and that was one of the lap sequences he used, so I got back home and decided that it worked pretty well, and I was going to charge up my bat laps and try that out myself. After the final polish, I ended with a 1.00 carat ruby, which is the first time I've ended with a stone that's 1.00 carat bang on. And in the diamond world, there's actually a premium price people pay for a 1.00 carat diamond. I'm not sure if that's the case with rubies, but there it is. This was a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys have any gemstones you'd like to see me cut, comment down below on what you'd want to see next time. Thanks for tuning in this week, and